And welcome to Beer Field Fantasy Football, or should I say Coke Field Fantasy Football, and by that I mean Coca-Cola, not cocaine. I am your host at Hop BFF with two P's, joined by my new Sunday friend, who is an old Sunday friend, Nick Sparts, who did his hair for the occasion. Nick, how's it going?
It's going okay. It's slow rolling this morning, but ready for some football. I've got my last paper due today for the semester, and then I am done for 4 weeks, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and then get rolling to the fantasy playoffs here with no school to hold me down.
Awesome, and cheers, Darren. Nick is got one paper left. I'm still on baby watch, still no kid yet. Nick, I see you got the Diet Coke today.
Yes,
I've got the Coke Zero, so we're well represented as far as Coca-Cola goes. Let's
just need Dan with a regular Coke, and we'd have this all set.
Yeah, damn it, Dan. Refreshing. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of the news.
Hey, Coke money, please.
Yeah, Coke, pay up. Free advertisement. Lamar Jackson expected to play in Tuesday's game versus Dallas. So that was postponed because of the whole Ravens fiasco last week. Lamar Jackson should be good to go for that.
Yeah, it sounds like he's expected to go, which is good because Trace McSorley would have been a disaster. At this point, though, I'm not sure there's many Ravens I want to start outside of maybe trying to take the risk on Dobbins.
Yeah, there's not. Ingram's firmly behind Edwards and Dobbins now. They're splitting work. Nobody's getting consistent pass catching work. It's kind of ugly.
Very, very kind of.
Yeah.
It's gross. Especially after how cool their offense was to watch last year. It's just been very disappointing.
Yeah, they figured it out. Make Lamar throw, and it doesn't work out too hot. So, speaking of things that probably won't work out too hot, Colt McCoy, this week's confirmed starter for the Giants after Daniel Jones' hamstring injury last week.
I mean, how much of a downgrade is it?
You lose your rushing floor, and I think it helps. I mean, I don't know that it is a downgrade. I think it's just more of it's going to have to happen in different ways to where you're not, going to be running around trying to extend plays. McCoy, I think, probably going to try to hit a lot of short and intermediate stuff in the passing game, get the ball out quick, bodes well for Golden Shepherd, and we just combined them into one person, Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard, and definitely works out well for Evan Ingram doing that.
If you could do that in your fantasy lineup, that would make it a significantly more attractive start.
It would be, but unfortunately you got a guest right now. Sterling Shepard, I think, is a wide receiver 3. Evan Ingram, obviously, tight ends are a mess, so you kind of got to run what you can out there. But I think it does work out better for the intermediate game in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it may help a little bit, but this is not an offense anyone was clamoring to start, even when they had Jones in there. So my point was, you're not making too many changes to your lineups based on this.
No, you're not. Things that will change your lineups, but not really. Kalen Ballage is expected to play Week 13 versus New England. It is not a fantastic matchup, though, and with Eckler back, it was fun the 2 weeks it lasted.
Yeah, I had him on a team that I had Eckler on, so he was awesome as a 2-week fill-in, but now that Eckler's back, I want him to go away.
Yeah, with Eckler back, I mean, Ballage will cut a bit into that Josh Kelly work, may take a carry or two away. It's going to be Eckler's lead back, though. You're not worried about Ballage coming in, taking work, or really blowing up there. So
I'd be more worried about him possibly eating to some of the receiving work, because that's something is not going to happen from Kelly. But Ballage is, I hate using the word capable here, but I guess that's what I'm going to use in the passing game.
All right, first question from Darren. Fant or Goddard standard scoring? Fant has the Chiefs. Goddard has the Packers.
Teams just no. The Eagles are dumb, so maybe they will pass against the Packers. You shouldn't pass against the Packers. I
mean, workload-wise, it's Goddard. I think it's in terms of the volume that these guys are seeing, it's Goddard. The game script leans a bit more towards the Broncos, and I think a lot of that's going to depend on Jerry Jeudy and his ankle. But I mean, Goddard, since he's come back, has gotten more consistent target volume with higher upside.
And he doesn't hurt himself every other week.
I
think Goddard's a much safer play, especially in standard scoring, where Fant has like 1 touchdown this year, maybe. Like he does not score.
He has 2, and they were the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, so in standard scoring, you're looking for touchdowns. So Goddard.
Indeed. All right, keeping it rolling on the news train. Cam Newton expected to play Week 13 versus the Chargers after dealing with an abdomen injury. So, I mean, that just take it for what it is. I mean, be thankful it's not Brian Hoyer or Jarrett Stidham, I guess. Philip Lindsay is expected to play this week versus Kansas City, so that's a little bit of a surprise. I thought, after getting hurt last week, he was dealing with a multi-week injury, or at least that was early reports, but Philip Lindsay's good to go. So, against Kansas City, your running upside, you'd figure, is a little bit capped. So take that for what it's worth. I think that Lindsay and Gordon are both RB, 2-3 type of plays with a little bit of upside. Tua is expected to start this week versus Cincinnati. That is a game I expect the Dolphins should win handily without a lot of Tua interaction. Should be an easy one for him to get him back comfortable. Don't expect he's going to have to throw 30-plus times.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I would have rather had Fitz in there for my Parker shares, but whatever. It's it's still going to be an easy roll for the Dolphins, unfortunately. Jen will be very sad that it's not Fitz against her Bengals because she likes watching Fitz play, and I don't think she knows anything about Tua.
Yeah, and the one thing with Brian Flores too in the Fitz Tua thing, and Dan and I have talked about this, is I think that the way that quarterback situation has been handled is literally the one misstep we've seen him this year.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten a little weird here. I hope they end up finding a better way to kind of balance that going forward, but it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously, the assumption going into next year is that Fitz will be gone and it'll be the Tua show, but
yeah, and it should be. And, the only reason that I would even consider it a misstep is just that, you take him out for poor performance while you're down. Your young quarterback needs to learn from that adversity at an NFL level. We know we've seen him do it at college, but, just an interesting decision. Anyway, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, game time decision due to illness. We should have those running in here shortly. Typically, well, no, that's a night game. We won't have that shortly. He was, quote, feeling better yesterday after missing practice on Friday. I would expect him to go, but, have a backup option. I mean, if it's redraft, I hope you have Bell. Otherwise, if it's, or somebody possibly in like the Tuesday game, so a Dobbins or somebody like that. Right, or, you may have Mostert, Singletary, and Moss,
in one of the doubleheader Monday night games.
Yep, Connor's not expected to go, so that opens up Benny Snell.
Yeah, I have an option if you're going to try to roll Heller today.
Mm-hmm. And you're lucky in the sense that you do have 3 games after the Sunday night game, so not normally the case.
Yeah, you have way more teams to possibly pick from this week than you would normally.
Right. Where was I? Okay, Allen Robinson active against the Lions today despite a knee injury. Jeff Okudah is not going to play. Allen Robinson still locked and loaded start. Keeping with that game, another guy we discussed, Darnell Mooney, is expected to play. It's a guy we talked about heavily on Tuesday, is somebody that's getting the target volume, that's getting the separation, that just hasn't had the accurate deep balls. So, it is somebody that we said don't be surprised if he has a blow-up game against a Lions secondary. It's not a bad, week 3 type stream YOLO start. You do have some late bye weeks happening this week, so you need to plug somebody in. That's one I can generally get behind given the target volume he's seen and where they're looking for him at in the field of play and the way he's been able to separate. The underlying peripherals are good, even though the results haven't been. Mm-hmm. So it's also a buy low in Dynasty for me.
Agreed.
Julio Jones, Todd Gurley, both expected to play this week versus New Orleans for the Falcons. That doesn't change a whole lot. Todd Gurley is a running back too, thanks to his touchdown upside for the most part. Hasn't been hyper efficient, and Julio is Julio. Ben Roethlisberger did not practice all week. Truly questionable for Monday night. Thing to note there. Ben is not the type of player that has to practice to play. But, that's something to keep an eye on for Monday night.
I do expect he goes.
I do too.
I haven't heard any rumors that he may be a surprise MIA.
Mm-hmm. All right, couple more questions. Half PPR, pick 2. Dobbins, Taylor, Debo, or Booker. Debo, first off, is just after last week when we said, tough matchup, don't go there, and he just slaughtered everything. Debo's an every week start. You leave Debo in and you don't question it.
I think given the matchup, Booker's probably my other choice.
Yeah.
Though I don't dislike Dobbins this week, or even Taylor's probably too cute just because of how they run that backfield in Indy.
Yeah, it is. Booker's got the most insulated values with no Josh Jacobs this week. Teams don't have to throw against the Jets, so there will be a lot of running work there for Devontae Booker. So I would say it's Booker and Debo. And a couple more questions. We've got from Darren, Michael Pittman or Mike Williams in half PPR.
I love Pittman against the Texans this week, so I think I'm going there.
I would also go Pittman. Patriots outside cornerbacks are both very good. J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore. So I'm leaning more Pittman on that one as well. We got pick 3: Allen Robinson, Myles Gaskin, Mike Thomas, Julio, and Justin Jefferson.
So just to clarify, I'm assuming we mean Michael Thomas because there is a Mike Thomas too.
Yeah, plant boy.
Justin Jefferson is 100% one of the picks because he's got an excellent matchup this week.
Myles Gaskin has nobody else in that backfield with him in a game script that should favor running.
Yeah, so I think Gaskin, Jefferson are two easy choices, and then it's
Robinson or Julio.
Who of the three? Robinson's actually been the safest all year.
Yeah, he has been, and it's
who are the Bears against?
Lions, Detroit. No Jeff Okudah either.
Is there a true font?
There is a true font, yes.
Okay, so that slightly hurts, but not a huge deal. Man, just due to his consistency, Julio being banged up, so you never know if he's even going to finish the game, and Hill throwing to fucking Thomas, I think it's Robinson, Gaskin, and Jefferson.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, and it's the part of the season that we've come to. So, Ryan, props to you for actually even asking that question, because most people are going to look at that and they're immediately going to jump towards, I'm starting Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and Allen Robinson, and it's a locked and loaded thing. So, the understanding to know that, with Taysom Hill, maybe Michael Thomas isn't an immediate start, and with Julio Jones banged up, he might not be an immediate start. So, props to you for not just accepting status quo with those guys and understanding the situation, showing up to grab an opinion on that, because that's something that, even I still struggle with sometimes. So, awesome on that. Morning, Colton. Devontae Booker or Myles Gaskin?
I think Booker. The Raiders are way more committed to running.
And the Jets have a much worse run defense than the Bengals. Like Gaskin Bengals are, I think, 10th in the league against the rush. But great game script. But for Booker, it's a great game script and a team that's committed to the run against a weak run defense. So it's Booker.
Yeah.
Lazard, Chark, or Ayuk, half PPR. DJ Chark is good to go. He is healthy. It is against the Vikings.
Yeah, it's...
Mike Glennon did look Colin Johnson's way more often than anyone else's last week, and he was filling into the DJ Chark role too.
Yeah, I just like Lazard a lot this week too.
Yeah,
because he scored on less than 50% of snaps last week, and I expect that to trend up. These are good problems to have this week. I I think I agree, though. I think it is Chark.
Yeah, it's Chark by a hair for me over Lazard. All right, Colton needs upside. He's going against a super team. DK, Tyreek, Chubb, Aaron Jones, Henry, Kelsey, etc. I picked 2.5 PPR. Hopkins, Dobbins, CEH. Leading against benching Hopkins because Ramsey shut down.
I am concerned about the Ramsey shutdown, and Hopkins has also done very little outside of the Hail Mary the last couple of weeks. But CEH being a potential late scratch worries me about benching Hopkins.
Yeah, especially if you need upside.
If CEH was totally healthy, and we knew he was going to go and get the workload, I think that's an easier choice. But with him ill or possibly looking at a limited workload, makes it me real cautious to bench Hopkins unless you have another running back you can switch to if you do bench Hopkins, because you may end up screwing yourself when you need upside.
Yeah, and for Dobbins, I mean, 3 of the last 4 weeks he's been double-digit carries. 2 of those weeks he's been, 15 plus. So,
yeah, I think Dobbins with him back is an easy plug-in against the Cowboys. That's no big deal.
So you're going Dobbins, Hopkins.
I think it's Dobbins Hopkins unless you can get another running back to sub in for CEH. If you get word he's not going to go or not going to get a full complement of carries.
Yeah.
But unless you have that alternative, I think it's getting too risky to not throw Hopkins in the start. So I think it's Hopkins Dobbins is the play.
Yep. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. More coming in. We've got Ryan said thanks. He was really trying to decide between Thomas and Gaskin. Alex, chart questions is against the CBS podcast host. Want to sweep them in the listener league.
Nice.
Ryan, pick 3. Benny Snell, Todd Gurley, Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, David Johnson, who's been recently activated off of IR. Damian Harris, the problem is touchdown upside.
But I think the yards will be there this week against the Chargers. So I like Harris. I think Murray is too cute after he blew up last week because he didn't do a whole fuck ton the first week with Hill. But on the flip side, we need to pick 3. I just have no interest in starting Todd Gurley if I can avoid it, or David Johnson against the Colts. So I think it's Snell, Harris, Murray, even though I don't want to start Murray.
No, and well, the thing with Murray, to give you for a little bit of comfort, we talked about Murray at length. And that first week with Hill, he didn't have the 4 touchdowns, obviously, but he did have 86 scrimmage yards, a couple of receptions. That's not a dud day. That's pretty solid RB2. So, I mean, you could do worse than that. Benny Snell has an okay matchup. So, yeah, Snell, Gurley, and who'd you go with?
Snell, Harris, and Murray would be my 3.
Okay, I would probably go Snell, Gurley, and Harris. Just because Gurley is going to have that touchdown upside at games, against New Orleans. I think that you're severely lacking touchdown upside on the Damian Harris front, and kind of volume on the Latavius Murray front. I think that I made this comparison on Tuesday's show that Latavius Murray is Todd Gurley without the touchdown upside, essentially, as far as productivity is gone, and as far as what they've done yardage wise and everything. So, I'd be doing Gurley over Murray if it were me.
Okay. I don't love Gurley or Murray. I think Snell, Harris are the easy 2, and then it's just kind of gross for the third.
I'm with you. But yeah, we looked at it. We looked at it Tuesday, and the productivity for Gurley on a game-by-game basis is basically Latavius Murray with touchdown upside, sans that 4-touchdown game last week, which last week was kind of a toss-out game, the way that they had to run the offense going on with Denver. Sanders or JT standard scoring? Sanders or Jonathan Taylor? Sanders for me.
This should be a situation where it should be an easy choice for Sanders because they're playing the fucking Packers.
Mm-hmm.
But because both offenses are a nightmare, it actually makes it tricky. I still think you go with the theoretically safer play of Sanders.
I'm with you. It's better matchup, and I think Boston Scott and Jordan Howard are less threatening than the random Naeem Hines and Jordan Wilkins blow-up games.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, full PPR, need 2. Jonathan Taylor, Edwards-Helaire, Booker, and Juju. I mean, it's Booker and CEH, again, if you're in the CEH plays, which he's likely to.
Well, and because Steelers are playing late, right? So you could theoretically switch to Juju if you get word that CEH isn't going, right?
Actually, I think that is a true statement.
So I think the play is you assume CEH Booker, and if you get word CEH is out, you throw Juju in. So make sure CEH isn't a flex.
Right. No, you're right, because the CEH is tonight, and they're the 4 o'clock game on Monday. Washington is. So, because CEH is the play, but if he can't go, then you plug in Juju, because he's going on Monday night. So, like Nick said, just make sure CEH is in your flex spot. So, and it's week 1 of a 2-week semifinal. So, yeah, again, you're just trying to rack up points at that point. So, it's CEH. All right, let's see if we've got any official ins and outs yet, since we've been talking for a little bit. We do. I don't know if we'd officially mentioned it yet, but Salvin Ahmed, DeAndre Washington, and Matt Breida all out for the Lions. Well, good Lord, the Dolphins. So, that's just now official. No support.
Looks like no Andrews expected on Tuesday.
Nice. So, no surprises for the Texans. Remember, Will Fuller is suspended. So, run out your Brandon Cooks because they're running out of wide receivers real fast. Deandre Swift, inactive as expected. Listed as illness. We know he's been dealing with some post-concussion stuff, which is really, really scary. But he is officially out. Waiting on word on Akeem Hicks before we give a lot of guidance there, because as we saw last week with the Packers, the Bears run defense with Akeem Hicks and without Akeem Hicks is 2 completely different things. Akeem Hicks doesn't go, you are very comfortable with Adrian Peterson, Kerryon Johnson being plugged in as flex plays. If Akeem Hicks goes, that changes that entirely. So.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Jonathan Taylor officially active. That was kind of expected.
Still makes things tricky though, because if he was out, it'd be a smash start for Hines.
It would be. It would be indeed. All right, cool. Keep it moving. David Johnson activated from IR. We talked about this already. Johnson, not exactly a blow-up play. Tough matchup against the Colts. I wouldn't be sprinting to do that. Darnell Mooney, who we talked about earlier, expected to play this week despite dealing with an ankle injury. He's more of a wide receiver 3 or 4 type YOLO start. Because the volume he's been getting, there's a ton of upside there, and I'm just waiting for the week that actually blows up. I think it could be this week. Jacksonville going to be without their top 3 cornerbacks versus the Vikings today. So, Thielen and Justin Jefferson are absolute plugins for that. We mentioned Okudah being out for the Lions. Josh Jacobs is out for the Raiders versus the Jets. Devontae Booker is going to get most of that workload. It is a plus matchup. It is a plus game script. And it is a team that wants to run the football. All 3 of those things say Devontae Booker is something you're fine with this week. We're waiting for news on Akeem Hicks from the Bears. Jonnu Smith is out for this week's game against the Browns. So Anthony Firkser is the plug-and-play guy there if you're a Jonnu Smith owner. That is purely just based on how they use the tight end. We've seen Firkser be used in conjunction with Jonnu Smith. But so if you don't have another option, Anthony Firkser's your guy. Irv Smith Jr. out for the Vikings against Jacksonville. You can just ignore the fact that Kyle Rudolph exists, even with that being the case.
I mean, if you're super desperate, it's not horrifically, because it's a good matchup again for tight end.
It is. It's just one of those things where with Thielen and Jefferson, and then the way, I don't know how you expect this to go, but for me, game script just says it's a Dalvin Cook game by a lot.
I do think it'll be mostly a Dalvin Cook game, but there's no Madison, so they may try to throw to try to just reduce his workload.
Or Amir Abdullah. Yay.
Yeah, or Mike Boone.
Yeah, or Amir Abdullah.
Do you want Abdullah or something?
No, I don't want Abdullah. I just... Dan is perpetually on the Mike Boone train, so I've just taken the stance of I'm against Mike Boone, even though I have nothing against Mike Boone.
I'm not happy with Mike Boone after he completely shit the bed last year in the championship week, but
yeah,
that's more of a personal gripe than anything.
DJ Chark removed from Jacksonville's injury report, so he is going to play this week against the Lions.
Excellent.
As we mentioned. Wait, I said this week against the Lions. That's against the Vikings. That's actually probably a Roto World snafu again, honestly, if I had to take a guess.
Again? Really?
It might have been. I'm not going to go back and find it. I'm just going to blame them because there's no way I typed it wrong, right? And, yeah, Schefter. So the reason we've had Benny Snell questions, Schefter reported this morning, even though James Conner is eligible to return, he's not likely to be activated by Monday night. So it is a Benny Snell game. All right, Alex again. Kiki Kuti, Naeem Hines, Keelan Cole, Valdez-Scantling, Melvin Gordon need to half PPR.
All right, well, the Gordon edge was going to be if Lindsey was out. It sounds like Lindsey's going to play.
Valdez,
so that makes...
Yeah. Valdez-Scantling's capped by Lazard.
Pick 2? Hines and Cole? Or maybe Hines and Kuti? I think Hines still gets plenty of work.
I think Hines gets plenty of work, too. And, Gordon and Lindsey are in a 50-50 timeshare. The thing is do you just take the insulated running back value here with Chark back? Kiki Kuti is... Man, it's going to be so interesting to see what the Texans do and who's going to emerge as number 2 there. I have a hard time giving Kiki Kuti guidance, though, because you haven't even really seen him flash at all. I mean, he's going to be forced in to work, but... I mean, is he heads and shoulders better than Isaiah Coulter at this point? I mean, I don't know. Is Isaiah Coulter...
If he was, I would have expected more of a breakout from him than we've seen over his career thus far, because he flashed as a rookie and has done absolutely fuck all since.
Right, and my issue with Keelan Cole is he was primed without DJ Chark last week, and then, Mike Glennon just decided, hey, we're going to go throw to Colin Johnson instead. So, I'm Melvin Gordon and Naeem Hines in this one. That's where I'm at. I'll cut to the punchline. I'm Melvin Gordon and Naeem Hines in this one.
Okay. I think I'm Hines Cole, but because I think Cole has a great matchup this week.
It's a great matchup. I will agree with you there.
But I could see the argument going for Gordon if you just want the floor, because obviously you could see Cole get completely game scripted out somehow again.
Yeah, I mean, other than the touchdown in Week 10 also, since that Week 6 blow-up by Keelan Cole, and hell, even before that, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 46 yards, nothing. 2 receptions for 25 and a touchdown in Week 5. Then he had the blow-up in Week 6. Week 7, 1 reception on 2 targets for 12 yards. Week 9, 1 reception on 2 targets for 6 yards. And then the last 3 weeks, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 47 yards, and a touchdown. 2 receptions for 26 yards, and 3 for 44. All of those games under 7 targets. So it's scary. I get it. It's a great matchup. It's just, look at your team, look at your matchup, and we'll just say this. If you need a boom, it's Keelan Cole. If you need the floor, like Nick said, it's Melvin Gordon. I like it when they're close like that, though. It's good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Should have more inactives here. I do. Perfect. Colts. No Rigoberto Sanchez. Punter's out. Oh no.
Yeah, he had something come up where he needed like a surgery randomly.
Yeah.
Or no, I think it might have been cancer for him.
What? The cancer?
Yeah, I think so. Like I remember some puncher got cancer and was put on IR.
Yeah, it was a cancerous tumor. Holy crap. How did I miss that?
I don't know. Me who's half paying attention apparently noticed.
Yeah, Ryan Allen. Oh, I remember the Ryan Allen news. I guess I just never really paid attention to why, because it's Hunter news. I do remember them signing Ryan Allen, though.
Is Forrest playing for the Colts? I don't remember if DeForest is playing this week.
I can check for you real quick.
He was active from the COVID-19 list, so it looks like he should play.
Yeah. Yep, that was the last news I have on him, too. I'm assuming we're looking at the place. Allen Robinson officially active. That was expected. No surprise inactives for the Bengals. Nothing new on Sleeper. I decided I'm watching Sleeper this week too, because I keep getting scooped by people that are paying attention to Sleeper. All right. We'll give it another minute or two here. Let maybe some additional questions roll in and see if we got any more inactives before we call this thing. I got to figure out what I'm actually, if I'm doing ADHD football this morning or if I'm just going to watch the Bears game. Probably do Red Zone. Yeah. Early windows got some good ones. Saints, Falcons, Jags, Vikings should at least be good for fantasy. Browns, Titans should be good. Bears, Lions will be good. Bengals, Dolphins, Raiders, Jets are kind of meh. Early window's not bad today.
Yeah.
Really a lot more enticing than the late window. Yep. Red zone it is.
Yeah, late window will probably be where I do most of my essay.
Late window will probably be where I nap, because that's normally how it works.
Well, I gotta behave and be productive today. Next week I can nap.
It's like, get on the way. I got to nap while I can.
Sunday night game looks ugly as hell too. Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't
not
and
else.
only one of the triple threat Monday or later games is even that interesting, and that's Bills 49ers.
Bills Niners. Yep. And thankfully that's the primetime one.
Yeah.
So at least there's that.
So on the flip side, I get to watch half an hour of football during work tomorrow, so that's nice.
That is nice. I'll be off before that game kicks. Not the same for me.
I work till 4:30.
Yeah, I'm a 7 to 3:30 guy. 7 to 3:30, 7 to 4. I'll still be off by the time that happens. All right. I don't see any more questions, so we will go ahead and wrap this thing. As of right now, Dan and I will be back on Tuesday to do the show. That's, obviously if I have a kid in that time frame, there may not be anything that happens this week. So, just beware of that. We are tentative. We are questionable for Tuesday. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to the new faces we saw this week. Always cool. Great questions.
We did get one question in here.
Yeah. Oh, we did. With Juju, Claypool, Johnson, Washington doing good, do you sit Ebron this week? It's hard to sit tight ends. It really is hard to sit tight ends.
It really depends on who the hell else you can switch to.
Yeah, what are some of your other options at tight end with Ebron? Let's do that. He had 11 freaking targets against Baltimore.
Yeah. Unless I have something to obviously move to, or you have a league that doesn't require you to start a tight end, it's really hard to just blanket sit a tight end.
Yeah, it is.
Unless it's like that dude. Like Dan Arnold, I guess you can blanket sit him, but beyond that, it's if a guy's getting any sort of volume, he's at least under consideration.
Yeah, and he has to be, and that's just because the tight ends in the league that get volume. You look at the lineup this week. I mean, you're Saints Falcons, nothing you're interested in there. Jags Vikings, nothing you're interested in there. Browns Titans, Anthony Ferkser, because we know that they'll target Johnny Smith. Like that's the level that we're at.
And then maybe Hooper. These are the names you're looking at, and I'm like, Ebron's just kind of on that same level. Yeah. So
Hawkinson, Graham, Ebron is a tier above Jimmy Graham, but yet you feel like you have to start Jimmy Graham because of the red zone work, and just some things there. The thing with everybody doing well though is that it's a good offense. Obviously you're not gonna have Juju Claypool, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Eric Ebron all go off in the same week because the Steelers aren't scoring 50 points a game. But
three of them might.
You're right, and the level it takes for a tight end right now to be a top 12 tight end isn't a whole lot. I looked this up.
Like 50 yards and a touchdown, and you're probably tight end 10 or higher.
You're higher most of the time. I looked it up the other day. I'll look it up again, actually, because it may have changed in the last couple of weeks, but I think tight end 12 was averaging like 6 points a game or something like that. It was something really, really low.
So it's basically it's like 30 yards and 50-50 shot at a touchdown is tight end 12.
Right. So
Jesus.
I got to count. Hold on. So the tight end 12 is 7.9 points per game.
And that's half PPR?
And half PPR. That's if you arrange it by points per game. That's Trey Burton, tight end 12 in points per game. If you arrange it by actual points, it's Evan Ingram. And Evan Ingram, it's 7.4 points per game. That's after you filter out, your injuries and everything like that.
So 3 catches, 30 to 35 yards, and a 50-50 shot at a touchdown gets you a top 12 tight end.
Right.
That is gross.
Yeah, Eric Ebron's the tight end 10. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you sit Ebron unless you have a better alternative. So without knowing who that is, just
for fun, your top 12 tight ends so far this year, today, going into week 13. Travis Kelce, obviously. Darren Waller's the tight end, too. They're the only two averaging more than 10 points a game. Well, Mark Andrews also, who's not playing this week. But Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, Robert Tonyan, Mark Andrews, Jonnu Smith, Rob Gronkowski, Hunter Henry, Hayden Hurst, Eric Ebron, Jimmy Graham, Evan Ingram are your top 12.
Oh, we got somebody else who snuck in here late.
Sweet. Morning. So pick one: Alex Smith, Nick Mullins, Colt McCoy, Brandon Allen, 6-point touchdowns. Mahomes is his other quarterback, so it's.
Woo.
Let me look at these matchups real quick. Brandon Allen has the Chiefs. He's going to have to throw 40 times, so there's that.
No, Brandon Allen has the Dolphins. You're thinking he's still on the Broncos.
Oh, that's right. Bengals. Yep, pardon me for that one. Nope, don't do that. I'm stuck in last year. Colt McCoy.
As the Seahawks, who have been suddenly playing better.
Yeah.
Mullins has the Bills, who also have a good defense. But they do some design stuff that helps. I think Alex Smith, just because he takes care of the ball, might be your safest play, but geez, none of these are good.
I have this problem in a couple of Superflex leagues as well. I think it is Alex Smith because Nick Mullins he's game managing right now at best.
And usually doing a couple mistakes a game as a game manager, which is not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a not good matchup for Alex Smith either, but yeah. I think it's Alex Smith. There's another.
Yeah, he's got the best receiver out of any of them as well, so that's a difference maker. But yeah, that's just. Woo. You may have quarterbacks 29 through 32 right there.
Yeah. Also sit one. Montgomery, Gaskin, Gibson, non-PPR. Non-PPR makes a huge difference here to me.
Who do the Bears play?
Bears have Detroit.
Man, are you sitting Gibson?
I think you are. I really think you're sitting Gibson. Against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh.
That hurts, but yeah, the matchup is rough.
The matchup is rough, and he's been progressively better as a runner, though, too. Ooh, that's tough. Gaskin's in.
As is Montgomery.
Yeah.
I think you avoid the tough matchup and you go Monty Gaskin, but woo, does that feel weird to say?
It does. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't envy that.
I have been trying to shade away from Gibson in the leagues I have him. I haven't been able to sit him, but I also didn't have Monty and Gaskin in just plus matchups sitting there.
Yeah, plus matchups with plus game script and nobody breathing down their throats for anything. So.
Yeah, is there anybody who's taking touches in Chicago right now besides
Cordero Patterson?
Yeah, he's always doing
I mean, that's it. Yeah, it's Cordero Patterson. Ryan Nall isn't. Lamar Miller got sent back to practice squad wasteland, and Cohen's been on IR since week 2. So,
yeah, so you're looking at 70+% touches for both those guys in a plus matchup.
Yeah.
Even though Gibson just blew up, I'd say just avoid him this week and look for a better matchup next week. I think they have. I mean, they definitely don't have the Steelers again, so that's almost certainly better.
Right. Denzel Ward not playing for the Browns. That was expected, but he is out this week. So
helps Tannehill in the passing game even more.
Yeah.
I like A.J. Brown and Corey Davis a lot this week.
Yeah, I love them both this week as well. And Titans, nothing surprising. No Adoree Jackson, no Johnny Smith. So.
Yeah, Washington doesn't get it that much better. They got 49ers next week as well, but that's at least a little easier to run on.
Hey, good morning, Ryan. But yeah, it is a little bit easier to run on. Man, that those quarterback questions, it's like that run of quarterbacks just is not. It's almost envious to me in leagues where I have no starting quarterbacks, but because there are a couple Superflex Dynasty leagues where I don't have starters this week.
I mean, I have 2 Superflex leagues where I'm intentionally trying to lose, where I basically don't have quarterbacks, period, and it's been kind of entertaining how I still managed to win with no quarterbacks.
Yeah, I've got one where Brady's on bye, and then my other options are Minshew and Luton, because I had Minshew, and I'm like, well, let me grab Luton here, because I didn't think for 1 second I'd see Mike Glennon this year. And yet, here we are. And Jameis Winston is the other one.
Well, I guess you start him and hope that Hill gets benched.
I started Minshew and hoped Glennon gets benched, because my hate for Mike Glennon is way greater than my hate for Taysom Hill. Bears fan. So Mike Glennon.
See, as a double Kamara owner in 2 dynasty leagues, I really hate Hill.
Oh, I know. We went into a long run on Alvin Kamara on Tuesday, and just how Taysom Hill, and when you take away Kamara's receiving work, he's basically, Latavius Murray, Todd Gurley in that tier of running backs, because you're going for 50 freaking yards a game with nothing in the receiving game because of Taysom Hill.
Looks like we got another one here. Lamar Jackson or Alex Smith?
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, even without Andrews, I still think it's Jackson, just because it's such a better matchup against the Cowboys than it is against the Steelers.
Yeah, it's a great matchup, and it's the rushing floor. I mean, in that, even on a bad day, Lamar Jackson is at least throwing about what Alex Smith is. And then you factor in the rushing floor, it's Lamar. Lamar Jackson, while he's been bad, still managed to be QB 12 on the year.
Yeah, so it's not anywhere near what you were hoping, but it's not atrocious.
Yeah, he's been all right. He's in points per game. He's actually higher than that too. He's QB 10. It looks like in points per game. So, yeah, you're okay with Lamar.
All right, thinks that does it.
I think that does it. Yep. So, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I appreciate the late run of questions there. That was awesome. And we will catch you guys potentially on Tuesday.
Yep.
Well, I will.
I'm assuming either Tuesday or Sunday. One of those probably gets scratched here.
Yeah. Yep. I would assume so. Well, Dan's actually off next Sunday.
So it might be a Dan and my show.
It could be. We'll see what that combination is. We will have somebody here on Sunday, though. Regardless, could be 2 of us, could be 3 of us, could be 1 of us, but somebody will be here on Sunday.
All right, sounds good.
All right, take care, guys.
Take care.